The streets of Paris were slick with rain, neon reflections shivering across cobblestones. The city had been under the shadow of Nazi occupation for 3 long years, and every alleyway hid danger. A lone figure ducked beneath the flickering light of a street lamp. His heart thundered, not with fear, but with anticipation. André Moreau, an unassuming librarian by day, carried secrets in his satchel that could turn the tide of history. He wasn't trained for heroics in the way soldiers were. André's weapons were observation, memory, and subtlety. For months, he had infiltrated enemy communication hubs, memorizing troop movements, supply routes, and, most importantly, plans that could decide the outcome of battles in Europe. Each night, he risked capture, each breath a gamble, knowing that discovery meant torture or death. The streets were unusually quiet tonight. Footsteps echoed in the distance. A black sedan rolled past. A German officer leaned out the window, scanning the night. André pressed himself against a wall, letting the rain mask his movements. He rehearsed the plan in his mind: slip into the safe house, retrieve the documents, and vanish without a trace. One misstep, and the mission, and the Allies' last hope, would be over. Inside the safe house, the air was heavy with the scent of mildew and old paper. André's hands trembled as he approached the chest where the intelligence files were kept. Each folder represented lives, strategies, and outcomes he couldn't yet predict. He knew the files contained information about an impending large-scale operation that, if intercepted by the Allies, could preempt a catastrophic German advance. The lock clicked. His breath caught. In one fluid motion, he retrieved the folders, securing them in his satchel. Footsteps again, closer this time. André froze, heart pounding against his ribs. A shadow fell across the door. The officer's voice cut the silence. "Who's there?" Adrenaline surged. Every second stretched like an eternity. With a calculated move, André pressed himself into the shadows and waited, counting his heartbeats as if they were bullets. The officer passed. André exhaled slowly, relief washing over him. But there was no time to linger. Every step he took back toward the street carried him deeper into enemy territory. He couldn't fail. The Allies were counting on him. And unbeknownst to anyone, the secrets in his satchel would soon alter the course of the war. At MI6 headquarters, André was debriefed by officers who had long underestimated the quiet librarian. Maps sprawled across tables, pins marking troop positions, and projections of what could happen if Germany gained the upper hand. André recounted every detail he had observed in Paris. His intelligence was precise, too precise to ignore. The officers initially doubted him. How could a civilian, untrained in espionage, penetrate German operations so effectively? Yet, as André produced sketches of the operational plans, the room fell silent. Every pin, every code, every timetable matched intercepted transmissions. He had delivered the key to preempting an offensive that could devastate Allied forces in northern France. André's instructions were clear: the Allies had to move quickly. Saboteurs would infiltrate key supply lines, sabotage communications, and create diversions. But the plan carried immense risk. Should André be exposed, the Germans would retaliate with brutal force. He had no illusions: each day could be his last. Meanwhile, coded messages began arriving from double agents in Berlin. These updates confirmed André's intelligence. The Allies mobilized quietly. Meanwhile, André continued risking his life, slipping in and out of German patrols, delivering microfilm, and coordinating with resistance networks. The war, often fought in the shadows, had found its unlikely hero. Back in occupied France, André relied on a network of informants who had their own secrets, ambitions, and fears. Not everyone was loyal. One informant, a man named Klaus, had been charming, persuasive, and seemed committed to the resistance. But André sensed unease. Klaus's eyes lingered too long on the documents, too often on the money André provided. One dawn, André returned to a rendezvous point to find it empty, papers gone. Panic surged. Could Klaus have betrayed him to the Germans? Time was critical. The stolen documents were now in enemy hands, potentially compromising the entire Allied operation. André had no choice but to follow the trail, relying on instinct, courage, and a keen understanding of human psychology. He tracked Klaus across winding streets and abandoned warehouses, feeling the weight of history pressing on him. Every interaction was a test, one miscalculation meant death. In a confrontation, Klaus revealed he had been coerced by the Gestapo. Fear twisted his loyalty. André, calculating but merciful, took decisive action, neutralizing the threat and recovering the files. The danger, however, had changed him. The war wasn't just about maps and strategies, it was about deception, loyalty, and the human cost of espionage. The intelligence André provided sparked operations no one thought possible. Allied forces coordinated with precision, intercepting German troop movements and rerouting defenses. André's microfilm revealed the location of supply depots, the timing of reinforcements, and the details of a secret offensive aimed at France's northern ports. By the way, if you're clinging to this moment with me, make sure to hit subscribe, more waits just ahead. Continue story. Operations began at dawn. Saboteurs destroyed communications lines. Supply chains were rerouted. German troops found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. André, ever in the shadows, reported every change, every adjustment, ensuring the Allies stayed one step ahead. The war's tide began to turn. The Germans, confident in their plans, faltered. André's intelligence saved countless lives, altered the trajectory of battles, and demonstrated the profound impact a single, brave individual could have on the global conflict. While André's efforts saved thousands, they also painted a target on his back. Enemy counterintelligence intensified. Assassination attempts became frequent. The resistance suffered casualties, and André faced relentless psychological strain. Every night was haunted by memories of colleagues lost, missions failed, and lives endangered. He wrote letters he never sent, documenting the war's truth, the sacrifices, the betrayals, the courage, and the fragility of hope. These letters, hidden in a false bottom of his satchel, would one day become historical evidence of the untold war efforts. André's inner turmoil mirrored the chaos outside. He questioned whether one person could truly change history, whether bravery alone was enough to combat such overwhelming forces. Yet, each time he saw Allied victories on the horizon, he understood, even in darkness, courage mattered. By late 1944, André's identity as a spy was exposed to the Gestapo through intercepted communications. The Nazis launched a massive manhunt. André fled Paris under cover of night, utilizing secret passages, disguises, and false papers. The chase was relentless, betrayal lurked at every corner. He crossed into neutral territory, moving through forests and fields under constant threat of detection. Allied operatives coordinated his safe passage, yet the journey exacted a personal toll. André endured hunger, exhaustion, and the ever-present fear of capture. Finally, he reached the safety of Allied lines. The information he carried had already been transmitted via secure channels, ensuring that operations continued seamlessly. His escape marked the end of one perilous chapter, but his story was far from over. After the war, André disappeared from public view. He returned to quiet life, his deeds unknown to the world. Yet, the intelligence he provided had altered battles, saved lives, and contributed directly to the defeat of the Axis powers. Years later, declassified files revealed André Moreau's exploits. Historians marveled at how a single, unassuming individual had impacted the course of World War II. Portraits, documents, and first-hand accounts immortalized his courage. André's story is a testament. Heroism often wears no uniform, and history's most consequential acts can come from the shadows. One man's resolve changed the war, proving that even amidst the greatest darkness, one spark can illuminate the path to victory.